Find the intercepts and graph each equation by plotting points. Be sure to label the intercepts. So this one here is going to be a little easier than the last one we did. The intercepts are definitely going to be a little easier here. So in order to find an x-intercept, that means my y is 0. So that means I'm just going to take this equation and plug in 0 for y. So this is going to be 5x plus, I have the 2. There's my y, plug in a 0 equals 6. So now 2 times 0 is 0. So I really have 5x equals 6, and I divide by 5. So here I get x equals 6/5. So my x-intercept is 6/5, 0. So remember, make sure you write it as an ordered pair. Now for the y-intercept. For the y-intercept, my x is 0. So that means I'm just going to take this equation and plug in 0 for x. And then 5 times 0 is going to be 0. So I get 2y equals 6. I divide by 2. And y equals 3. So the ordered pair for this one is going to be 0, because remember my x is 0 here. And 3 for the y. So there is the y-intercept. So now the directions here were to find the x and y intercepts, and then it was also to graph each equation by plotting points. So that means for this one, I can plot some points. Now keep in mind here, I don't really have to do a table here, because since this is a line, and it's a line because I know all my variables, well, my x and y here, two variables here, are to the first power. Since that's only to the first power for both of those, that simply means that we're dealing with a line here. So we can actually just use those 2 points and graph it. But this one here is going to be hard to graph, that 6/5, 0. So we're going to try to find a nice point. We did find one already. The y-intercept is actually a nice point. So now we're going to find another one that's equally nice. Okay, and we plugged in 0 for y for that, or 0 for x for that one. So that might be the key here. So one of the ideas I could use here is, could I plug something in for y here, that when I move it to the other side, I get a multiple of 10. Because think about it, I'm dividing by 5 as my last step. So if you didn't catch that, that's okay, but that's a nice handy tool if you did. So now if I plug in 2 for that, that would be 4, wouldn't it? So I'm going to try that. I want you to see this. So that would be 5x plus 2 times 2 equals 6. So this is going to be 5x equals, plus 4 equals 6. And then if I subtract 4, I'm going to get 5x equals 2, which when I divide by 5, it's not going to go into 2 evenly. So that tells me that's not a good number to pick. But that was a 2. Now notice I subtracted it here, and it was a minus 4. So think about this. If this could be a minus and I add 4, now I get a multiple of 10. So that's kind of the idea of what I'm looking for here. So that tells me that maybe I should pick a negative 2 for my y. And let's see what happens here. So this is going to be 5x minus 4 equals 6. I add 4 now. 5x equals 10. And then when I divide by 5, x is going to equal 2. So there's a nice ordered pair. And that ordered pair would be 2, negative 2. So now let's graph these. Now I really have 3 points I could graph if I wanted to. I am going to use that 6/5, 0 to kind of see if I'm staying on the same line here. Now again, since I'm graphing this, it's never completely accurate. And if you notice my scale here, I went every other one as a 1 unit. So now let's plot points. So 0, 3 is going to be up here. And then 2, negative 2, so over to down to, that's going to be there. And then I'm going to put the other point in there too, 0 6/5. That 6/5 is really 1 1/5. So that's going to be 6/5. And remember, 6/5 is like 0.2. 1/5, I mean, it's like 0.2. So that's going to be a little less than a quarter. So that is what it's going to look like. So now to draw the line, just going to take it through there, and we want to make sure we hit that second point. Oops, I want to redo it. That looks terrible. Oops. That's a little better. I missed this one, but actually I didn't. Okay, so anyways, so that's our line. So that's essentially what they wanted us to do with this one. Now, we didn't have to put many points in there just because it's a line. Now, any kind of curve, it could have anywhere from, honestly, from 3 to 20 points. Who knows? So anyways, just keep that in mind as you're graphing. Now, remember what it also said here. Be sure to label the intercepts. So now we got to label those intercepts. So the one up here is 0, 3. And the intercept down here is 6/5, 0. So there's our completed answer. Now for any graph, make sure you put all of those components in there and more when it comes to different graphs.